Hello everyone, Kyle Kind of Vlogs here. Welcome to the channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this here video, and I appreciate it more than you know. Today is that day. Today is the day we climb behind that wheel right there and start making our way, slowly start making our way toward New Mexico. Again, we're going to probably take a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. The plan today is to get midway, or probably a little beyond midway, to New Orleans. It is a Saturday morning, or almost, heck, morning has almost disappeared, but Saturday nonetheless, so we are going to try to make a good deal of driving today. I wish I could say we picked a good day to do it, but as you can tell, it is not clear. The visibility is rather low. It is it's extremely windy. I'm actually not sure where the wind's coming from. I'll probably be able to tell that here in a little bit. As you can tell, the water is moving pretty quick, and driving a bus in crazy wind is not always my favorite thing to do. Nonetheless, that is what we're dealing with today. And so we are making our way toward New Orleans. Today, again, is Saturday. The kids go back to school on Monday. So we'll spend probably Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and potentially Wednesday night in the New Orleans area. Beyond that, we're not 100% solidified yet where we're going to try to attempt to go after that, because they go to school Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I'd like to be somewhat settled while they're trying to go to school. That way we have, reasonable, good connectivity, and obviously they can get up and move around and do their thing. And so that's the plan. We'll see what happens there. But today the goal is to get as far west as we can down Interstate 10. Probably stop at some sort of casino, potentially if we can make it to Biloxi. I don't know that we'll make it to Biloxi. That's a pretty good clip from here. Otherwise, potentially a Walmart or Cracker Barrel. Don't know that far yet. We do have to get gas, which I'm not looking forward to that. That's the biggest thing for this trip. This fuel is going to be ridiculous. I know everywhere I've seen between $5 and $6 a gallon here. I want to stop at the Quick Trip, about 30 miles up I-10 there. They're typically going to be the cheapest around. They have a fuel island too for trucks, and they're typically going to be one of the cheaper spots. So that's my plan. We're going to get backed up here, finish packing up anyway, and start making our way west. It's about time. I did make a slight change. I decided to take the top tote off. I had plenty of room in the back of the Jeep, and I didn't think there's any reason to push it. That way, all I got to worry about is keeping that one secure, which I think will be perfectly fine. I went ahead, put me 2 cross straps, and then put one across the entirety of the tote. I think it's a much better option, and as you can tell, well, maybe not up here, but yeah. Anyway, there's still a decent amount of room back there, and I was able to fit everything that was already in there and throw the tote on the bottom. I think all in all, this is going to be a safer, less stressful setup for this trip. Go ahead and get our water filled up. That's what the plan is. I told you a little bit of it earlier, so we won't likely even remotely be staying in a campground for at least a week. So we got to make sure we got plenty of water, plenty of sewage space. Gonna try to do this trip on the cheap, if you know what I mean, or as cheap as it can be done. What I had started the generator up, and you might be able to hear the hum of it. I'm trying to get the battery good and chop, make sure everything's running good there. Want to be prepared as we can. Much easier to do this stuff here at a campground than it is out on the side of the road or in the rest area somewhere.
You do your best thinking when you record.
Just never done that before.
All right, so should we?
She fires right up.
Obviously, the universe doesn't want us going anywhere.
So why is the bus not moving?
It's not starting. It started perfectly fine.
The last 100 times I've done it, tried it. So.
All right, so there's obviously.
Didn't our other one break down last time we were here too?
I wouldn't doubt it. So if it's not getting fuel, that would be your guess is why it's not.
I mean, it's not igniting the fuel it's getting, or it's not getting it at all. I don't know.
Maybe last night a rat got in it and started chewing it.
Fuel maybe so.
So I did Google it, and fuel starvation, air in the system, or ECM power issues. Check for fuel leaks, replace fuel filters using the priming pump, and check for ECM fuses power, especially if the engine light does not behave normally. Okay, so we've got somewhere to start, right?
He's going for the demo.
Always. Always when we're trying to leave, the universe is like, you know what? Nay, you're gonna stay put for another minute or so.
Well, guys, it is not going good. Oh man, so yeah, it's been a while since we picked you guys up. So obviously we didn't leave. The bus is not starting. Dug into some of my groups. I have some good Facebook groups that have a lot of very knowledgeable, experienced bus people, and they told me to check out the ECM. Well, here, let me just show you real quick. So the ECM has a fuse, actually a couple fuses. It's got two 15 amp fuses there, and then it's got a 5 amp fuse here. The 5 amp fuse was busted. I don't know if you can tell. Let me see if I can get that to... Maybe you can tell, but the 5 amp fuse is busted. Not working. So what I did is I took it out, replaced it with a new one, tried to start it again, did the same exact thing. So that tells me we've got a short, or we've got something going on in that line, in that 5 amp line. So the ECM, I guess some of you may not know, an ECM is basically the brains of your engine. It's right there. Right there. It's mounted right on the side of the motor. So basically it controls the motor, tells the motor what it needs, the injectors, all that. So it's the brains. It's the computer of the motor. Electronic computer module, something like that. But nonetheless, a very important part of the bus. So we have a good idea what it is. Oh, and also, so I unplugged the module from the, let me think, going into the ECM. So I unplugged that and tried it again. Tried it a third time. Busted the fuse again. So that tells me there's got to be a short somewhere between that fuse, I don't know, and the module. But so best I can tell, it's not the module, which is a good thing because those things are thousands of dollars. So I don't think we have a bad ECM, but we do have a short somewhere in line heading to the ECM, and I don't know where. So that's where I am, trying to figure out. I've looked. The problem is there's miles and miles of wire in this bus, and you have access to about 5% of it at best. So I've looked at what I can look at, and this is where I am. So I've got some feelers out there on Facebook with some other guys, just trying to get some advice, some maybe just some direction to go in, because I honestly don't know where to go at this point, and I really don't have the money to pay a mechanic to come figure it out. So I am that guy. I'm the mechanic. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't. I've dealt with a lot of breakdowns in the last 6 years. Quite a few, a good amount. And most of it I've been able to handle on my own. I have, and hopefully this one isn't any different, because I don't have the money to pay someone to come fix it. I just don't. So we're gonna see. We don't have to leave this spot until Monday without paying more. So it's Saturday. So plan is just I'm gonna call it for tonight. You know, it's overcast, it's windy, it's a little chilly to be honest with you, and I've kind of just exhausted my thinking for today because I don't really know what else to do at this point. So I'm hoping I'll get some more good information on Facebook overnight and this evening and come out tomorrow with a fresh set of eyes and hopefully a little more knowledge on what I'm looking for. And hopefully we can get this thing figured out and get on the road tomorrow. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is I have to wait till Monday and see if I can find someone to come look at it. You know, that again, I'm very remote. I'm between Tallahassee and Jacksonville. There's just not many people out here, so I don't know. You know, and again, I don't really have the money to afford to do that. So that is last worst case scenario for me is having to call someone else. Tomorrow I'm going to give it my best shot, hopefully with a little gained information from overnight and some folks helping me out. But that's where I am. And that's bus life. That's part of owning a bus. That's part of owning any RV. They all break, unfortunately. You know, it's just weird because it drove here, we parked it, and now there's something between when we got here 4 weeks ago and today that has happened to that. And it it seems like maybe something, you know, because something maybe got in there and chewed up a wire somewhere, a rat, squirrel, something. I don't know. I mean, but again, I've looked up to this point. I've seen nothing that looks out of the ordinary. So that's where I am, and what's what I'm gonna. Yeah. So wish me luck. And tomorrow I'm going to go inside. I'll pick you guys up tomorrow when I have a little more information for you, and hopefully we can get this figured out. Because I'm ready to get on the road. I don't want to sit here anymore. Oh well. See you tomorrow. Well, guys, I wish I was coming to you with better news. I had no luck today. I no, didn't really make any progress. You know, I just don't know enough about this to really figure it out, I guess. I've determined I don't believe it's the ECM. I don't think it's the ECM. I've checked the alternator and kit, you know, just some things I've kind of gotten some tips on that it potentially could be causing my issue. I don't think the alternator's bad. I don't think the ECM's bad. I think I've got a short somewhere or something, a wire that is rubbed through, touching metal and creating the short. And the problem is I don't know where to look. I don't know where it is. I've looked where I can look, or I looked where I think to look. You know, I think I said it yesterday in the video. There's miles and miles of wires running through this bus, and you know, a very small percentage of them I can actually get to, and even smaller percentage of that is actually reasonably easy, you know, reasonable to access. You know, so it's tough. You know, that is the tough part about working on buses. You know, I've been working in this tight, confined space here, you know, and look at all that. I mean, you can see there's just wire everywhere. Wherever you look, there's wires. There's wires everywhere you could imagine, going to various parts of the bus and running to the front and the back, and there's relays in between, and there's switches, and then there's you know, different components, and different things share same circuits, and it's just, if you don't have a good understanding of electricity and how it works in a bus, or you know, period, anything really, it's tough, you know. So I feel like I'm chasing a needle in a haystack at this point. I don't know. I don't have a good solution. I dug into this panel today. So there's three main panels in the bus. One's way up front there, where I don't know if some of you might remember a while back I had issues with a turn signal in the summer. That was isolated up there. This back here is a lot more of the rear of the bus. You know, you do have a lot of stuff like 12-volt lighting and stuff, but there is some, you know, some relays, some grounds and stuff for the engine and the components, the electrical side of the engine. So I've looked in here and kind of just looked at some of the stuff that you know, right there you see, I don't know if you can able to tell the bottom studs there. It's 53, 54, which is part of the ECM system on the bus. So I mean, I don't know. I've just looked at the things and tried to see if I can decipher and come up with anything where something might be burnt, something doesn't look, just something, anything that looks off, and I haven't found that yet up to this point. Let's sit in the car to finish it up, but so, I mean, we did have a little bit of good news. So we were actually supposed to check out today, and Jen went up this morning and had them adjust our dates a little bit. because we came in on the 1st. They had us coming on the 29th, so luckily they were nice enough to extend our stay till the 31st without having to pay further, which the 31st is Tuesday. Today is Sunday. So tomorrow I got to make some decisions. I've got to make some decisions on what we're going to do as far as getting this figured out, because I don't know. I don't want to just sit here. That's not doing it as anybody any good. I'm ready to get out of here. We need to get out of here. There's a charter bus company just honestly a few miles from here. I may go by there in the morning and see if they have any mechanics on duty and I can talk to them. There is it looks like a heavy duty truck, maybe RV repair in the town of Madison, which is surprising. I may run there tomorrow. I do have another contact. My brother told me about a guy in North Carolina who has a bus shop, and he's really specializes in MCIs. So I have his number. I may give him a call tomorrow and see if he can walk me through some stuff. Maybe just put, I'm not completely ignorant when it comes to this stuff, but as far as electrical goes and tracing stuff, I just don't have any experience in it. So someone with, knowledge of these things and this sort of issue can point me in the direction, at least give me things to check. I think that might be a good thing. I talked to my dad this morning, and he told me to try the alternator. He said he's seen before where alternators can have issues and cause problems like that. So that was an easy thing to eliminate, and I think that's a lot of it is process of elimination. My worry is that it's a wire somewhere within the confines of that bus that has either rubbed through the plastic jacketing, or something has chewed on it, whatever the case may be, and that is exposed to some sort of metal, which is shorting out the bus. Yeah, it's a very simple, quick, easy fix. The problem is finding it. It's literally a needle in a haystack, and I don't know, but that's where I am, and I'm gonna leave you guys here. I'm sorry, this is not one of this not been the video I planned for it to be, but nonetheless. It's the video we got. We are stranded, unfortunately, for the moment. We got to figure it out, because that's the only thing we can do. I've been here before. If any of you watch Red, White, and Bethune and Being Bethunes for any length of time, you've seen us in this position more than once. And we're here again, and that's part of this lifestyle. It's part of owning a bus. It's part of owning an RV. It's part of living a nomadic lifestyle. Is you're dealing with machinery, you're dealing with equipment, and it's going to break, it's going to fail, parts are going to fail, and it's tough. It seems to always do it in the least opportune times as possible. But honestly, I'm grateful for the fact that we're here at a campground. We didn't get down the road a few hours, and we're dealing with this on the side of the road somewhere in a rest area, etc. So I am grateful for the fact that we are still in our spot. We have water, electric, all that, and there's a reasonable sized town not too far around. But we're stranded, and we're gonna have to figure out a way to get out of it, because that's really that's the option we have. There is no other option, and we'll figure that out. And tomorrow I'm gonna dig into that a little more, and I will update you all on Wednesday. But thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging in with me, guys. Thanks for showing the love and support. If you would show some light, leave me some comments of encouragement, or if you have any ideas, or if you have anything to give me a direction, I would appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday, and I'll give you an update on where we are. And hopefully I won't even be here. At the best case scenario, I won't even be here. We'll be down the road, or at least we'll be making our way in that direction. Be well, guys. We'll see you here in a couple of days. Bye for now.